Hey, Maurice and Odie, gonna take over like Zach and Cody. Black and Snurdy is the best podcast, gonna boom like Wile E. Coyote. Gonna meet magic, they move like they hairy. Ain't talking about mental health, no, it's not scary. You know that she coming up with the astrology. Mo got a comic, and that's the best policy. Maurice the GOAT, talking about animation, cause you know. Odie, she moving wavy like the boat. Watching some movies and she's taking notes. Yeah, kick back, listen. Black and Snurdy have risen. Upload on a mission. 5 stars, never dissing. Black and Snurdy, ooh. Black and Snurdy, yeah. Black and Snurdy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Black and Snurdy podcast, the only podcast where two sexy black nerds get together and shoot the shit. I, of course, am Mo, aka Kid Licorish.
And I'm Odie.
And together we are the aforementioned Snurds here on episode 132 of the Black and Snurdy podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing good for the most part. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. This has been we are slowly but surely getting ready for a vacation.
Yes.
That is on the horizon.
Finally.
And with that vacation, the days before, do you find that the days before the vacation are long or short?
Long.
Okay, yeah.
It's both long and short. Like, I feel like it's long as in it's like, oh man, it's coming up in a few days. But short as in like you're trying to get all these things done.
Yeah.
Like wanting to make sure, like, I mean, before we go on a trip, like to clean the apartment,
Sure.
do laundry,
Sure.
make sure everything is like taken care of here,
Mm-hmm.
and then go. And it's like, well, I got some good news today about something I've been waiting for. So that some of the time that I thought I was going to have for the beginning of the week to get things done is kind of truncated a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's like I'm hoping that that's not going to be a big stressor, but in general, I'm just like looking forward to getting there and being in the sun in the fun. Wait,
Sun's out, buns out.
sun's out, buns out. Fun
Yes.
in the sun.
Because
Buns.
should we say where we're going or no?
We're just going to Jamaica.
Yeah, we're going to Jamaica. It's gonna be a fun. We're going with friends.
Shout out to you, Gladys. Happy almost birthday.
Happy almost birthday indeed, Gladys. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. The trip is gonna be relatively short. It's not gonna be a long trip.
Yeah.
It's gonna be less than a week, right?
I think it's like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, 5.
Last time we were there was like we were there for a full week. I think it's just 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, but it's still good though. We're still gonna get out of the country. We're still gonna be on somebody's beach.
Yep.
We're still gonna be in some really nice weather.
Yep.
It's gonna be in the 80s.
Yep.
So I was gonna ask you this on Thursday, but when you're going to the airport, are you gonna bring your heavy jacket?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to at least bring one of them. Like I might bring my blue one because it's easy to like squish up.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the best part about going to somewhere warm when it's cold is that you're gonna be somewhere warm.
Yes, that is the best part.
The worst part is coming back to the cold because it's like sometimes like if you're going somewhere in the spring, you might go somewhere. If it's like in March or April, you might go and come back and it's not terribly cold, but sometimes you never know. Like where it's the December and this last week.
Sorry, I just saw that video that's on your computer.
Since it's the December is kicking up, the cold is coming in. Jack Frost is nipping at our noses and our fingers and our toeses. So like I don't want to come back and it's gonna be even colder. Like I am. One thing I'm worried about is like having to get our because we still haven't gotten our winter stuff from storage.
Yeah, we still have winter stuff in storage right now. We haven't had a chance. I mean, we
haven't really.
We got our coats.
We got our coats, which we
needed.
It. But then like we hadn't needed like a bunch of other stuff, and now that we're coming back, I'm like, then it's going to be a little colder probably because it's going to be like going into the second to last week of December.
We just haven't had the time because we just
Thanksgiving was just right a week ago. It felt like there was no time in between, which we were talking about with our friends the other day. Like it feels like it went from Thanksgiving straight into
December. Yeah.
So I feel like that time where we might go and like get our stuff, because it's like I don't necessarily want to go get it right before we leave, because we won't be able to put it all back.
Yeah.
And so then we would just have boxes here.
Yeah.
But then it's like I don't want to come back and be freezing. But I feel like at least having my coat and like I have enough like long sleeves, but like hoodies and stuff like that I usually keep around throughout the year, that I'm fine for the most part. But I am not looking forward to coming back to the States.
Yeah, I'm really not. It's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
Unless, where is all this global warming that was supposed to be happening?
Global warming.
This is the global warming?
Because first of all,
it's not warm.
Fall was crazy warm. Remember
fall was crazy warm.
80 days. Sometimes it felt like 90s. And then it's a complete like 180 shift.
There was no transition. Like usually fall is the transitional.
And there was no transition.
It's like it goes
hot,
from like
hot,
80 degrees to like
freezing.
60. No, it was like hot, and then just frigid nips.
The other day when I was meeting up with Tamara,
shout out to Tamara and Albert.
That was the first time I felt like I needed gloves.
Yeah.
Because I've been walking around like, my hands will be cold, but like there's a difference. Once, to me, I know it's cold outside when I start needing gloves.
Yeah.
Because then my fingers feel like they're getting numb.
Yeah.
Other than just being cold. Like I could deal with my hands being cold, but when they feel like they're numb and when my face starts being like I walk outside and I'm like, why is the wind hurting my face?
Yeah. You got some Linkin Park hands right there.
This is the time of year where I get annoyed at my father, because I'm like,
why?
He came here from Nigeria, extremely warm, temperate climate. He came to New York and he did not convince my mother to move to Houston. Do you know how many Nigerians are in Houston?
I'm sorry. Where did Houston come from?
Because Houston is a large population of Nigerians.
Was that on the table at all?
It could have been. I don't know.
At any given point.
It could have been. Because anytime I've ever asked him, like, well, why did you stay in New York? And he was like, oh, well, because your mom was here. Like, yeah, but we could have moved. It was not difficult. The Nigerians Nigerians.
I mean, you could have moved to Houston.
No.
Why not?
This is the thing.
There's a bunch of Nigerians there.
Growing up I think that when
conclave of Nigerians.
When you grow up in New York, specifically like when you are either in the city or city adjacent, I think that it's very difficult to just leave New York.
I don't know.
Either you hate New York or you love New York. And I'm not someone who hates New York. I might have annoyances, but at the end of the day, like there's no place that I've been in this world that gives me anything close to like the vibes that I get here, the ability to see all different various cultures, try all these different foods, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like I've been to Houston. It was cool, but it's not someplace that I would want to go and live.
Well, there's nothing more New York than moving out of New York to go to somewhere in the South. That's something that I've discovered.
And the thing is, I did that for college. That was one of the main reasons I wanted to go to Howard.
You were still in like the Northeast, though.
That's still below the Mason-Dixon. It's below the Mason-Dixon line. That is the South.
No. Hold on.
Baltimore
is below the Mason-Dixon, but is DC? Isn't DC a little bit higher?
How? I want you. No. Don't look this up, because I want you to put your Howard University education and your Baltimore City.
I know that Baltimore is below the Mason-Dixon.
How is it possible if you're driving from New York to DC, do you not hit Baltimore first? You have to drive through Maryland to get to DC.
You have to drive through Maryland. So you don't necessarily have to drive through Baltimore.
Fine, but Baltimore is in Maryland, and Maryland is above DC. So how could it be possible?
But not all of Maryland is below the Mason-Dixon line.
What
Baltimore
do you mean? How do you? Well, okay. Let me just look this up real quick, since
no, DC. See, no, Washington DC is not below the Mason-Dixon line.
How is that possible?
Because look at this map.
I'm looking on my.
The Mason-Dixon line is right here. And hold on. No, Washington DC is not below the Mason-Dixon line, as the line runs north of Maryland.
I'm going to read you the definition of the Mason-Dixon. Mason-Dixon line, originally the boundary between Maryland and Pennsylvania in the United States.
Wait, are we saying it's north or south of the
It's
Mason?
south of the Mason-Dixon.
Oh, it is
Anything
south
south of the Mason-Dixon is the South.
Okay. All right, my bad.
Are
Sorry.
you
I got a little bit confused.
American history?
I got a little bit confused. First off, I've never stated that I've been good at geography. But
it's the
classically have said that geography is not my strongest suit.
If you're talking about geography of like Africa or Europe or Asia or something, fine. But we live in this place. We've driven to these places.
Yeah, but remember we were in the car the other day and we didn't even know which one was Idaho.
Yeah, but that's different. That's just
how is that? We live in this place. We live in America. We should know everything about America.
Who's looking at the shapes of all the states?
You are when you're talking about the Mason-Dixon line.
I'm not talking about the shapes. I'm talking about where they are located geographically. And geographically, DC is below the Mason-Dixon line.
Okay. All right. Well, good thing we didn't bet because you would have won. Yes, you would have won. Hooray. Now. So yeah, DC is south of the Mason-Dixon line. My bad. I'm not good at geography. I've never said that I was good at geography. Okay.
So yes, I did go below the Mason-Dixon line for school, and I came right back to New York where I needed to be. But it's just I hate it when it's cold. Cold is my least favorite thing. It's terrible and it's annoying.
I also hate the cold.
That's because we're not supposed to be here. Okay. Okay. When I think about when I do these hypotheticals and I'm like, if Africans had never been stolen off the continent and there was no colonization or anything like that, and we were allowed to freely just evolve as we would have, I do believe, because Africans were already traveling to the Americas and other parts of the world, they had already traveled, experienced, et cetera, I'm sure that some of us would have come over here and been in these various states.
Sure.
Right? But it would have been by choice. And I don't know if my ancestors would have chosen to live here. And if definitely they would not have come up north. They would have stayed down south because it's a very similar climate. Because I remember my mom telling me the first time she took my dad to Spartanburg to see our family's land and everything. He was mentioning how close it was to Nigeria, etc. So I feel like we would have found places.
Where's Spartanburg?
South Carolina.
Okay.
That even if we had gone anywhere
how close
else,
it was in temperature?
Both temperature and aesthetics. It was very similar to Nigeria.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not that it's not close as in distance. I mean.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I was trying to figure out. Close in what close way? I knew it wasn't distance. That's why I wanted clarification, as in close in what way? Aesthetics, temperature, and it sounds like it was both of those things. I don't know why you have to give me that look. There's nothing wrong with asking clarifying questions.
But sometimes when we put on our thinking caps, we can rule out certain questions that we know.
I knew it wasn't distance. I knew it wasn't distance. Hence why I wanted to clarify in what way was it close.
It was close in aesthetics and culture.
Okay.
And temperature.
Okay, there we go. Thank you very much.
So I feel like we would have still stayed below the Mason-Dixon line. But since that did not happen, and then we were forced to, and even then, Black people, not to say they weren't Black people up north, even after slavery finished, but majority of us were still down south. It was only because of the forced migration due to the KKK coming in and fucking shit up all the time that we had to go.
Yeah.
And so that pisses me off. I'm sick of my face being cold. I'm sick of my hand being cold. I just want to be able to go outside, even if it's just a sweater. I want to be able to go outside for a second and not be freezing.
And on the flip side, though, you don't like it when it's all the way hot, though, because you're opening windows left and right up in this bitch.
I like the windows to be open. I want to have air, but I would still take heat over cold any day. Because I don't like having to think about what I'm wearing before I leave the house. In the summertime,
Wait,
know,
what?
if you would let me explain.
I'm all right. I'm listening.
In the summertime, it's like, okay, it's hot, but like generally, I don't have to think about what I'm putting on my feet. I can just like put on Crocs, sandals, flip flops, whatever. And then I could have whatever bottoms I want to have, depending on how hot it's going to be that day. But like in the wintertime, you really have to think about like, okay, how many layers am I wearing? Am I going to get too hot? Am I going to get too cold? Am I going to get hot and start sweating and then take a layer off and then I'm chilly and then I'm also wet from the cold, from the heat, and then the wind's blowing at me and now you get pneumonia. I mean, there's too much to think about. There's too much to make sure. Then of course having to keep all of your various layers that are not like on your body with you. The amount of gloves that I've probably gone through in my life is very annoying. You have to have gloves, hat, earmuffs. Like you constantly have to buy more chapstick. You constantly have to buy more lotion because you could never have enough. And as a melanated person, I'm not going outside with ashy hands, ashy face, dry lips, and you have to keep doing that over and over and over again because the cold is literally sucking the life out of you. And I do not like it.
Okay. That's all fine and fair. I completely understand where you're coming from in that regard. And as far as, well, I mean, year round, you put on lotion though, right?
Of course.
Like it's not.
No, lotion is a
going out of your
thing.
way to put on
but I'm
lotion.
talking about like in the summertime, you put
that
it
lotion
on.
can be greasy.
You put it on. Well, that I don't like that. I don't like having lotion on when it's super hot because I don't like this making me sweat. But like, there's still different varieties of lotion. You can put it on. You're good for the whole day unless you're going in the water or something like that. But when it's cold, you literally have to carry around lotion with you, one for your face, one for your hands, so that because you're constantly washing your hands, you need to put lotion on them, but also because it's cold, and then your face is getting dry because the air is sucking the moisture out of your face.
Mm-hmm.
It's just no me gusta. I don't like it, and I just would like to be warm and not feel frustrated because when it's cold, I'm frustrated. Like, of course, when it's hot, like if I'm in bed and I can't sleep because it's too hot, I'm be mad. But when I go outside and I feel that temperature, like this is why so many people get so riled up in the wintertime and they're angry. And then when the summer comes,
cabin fever
they
and stir
get
crazy?
there. Yeah. But then in the summertime, when people always talk about, oh, the summer is so violent. No, people have been spending months and months being pissed off at everybody. And the moment they come outside, they're like, all right, here we go. Let's get it going. Because they've been holding in all of their anger. And this is how it comes out of it. Winter makes people mean and angry. And I don't know how, I don't know when, but one day I am going to prove that colonization began because Europeans were so cold and angry. And then once they left, they finally stole the maps from the African explorers. They went to Asia and they were like, wow, it's warm. Look at all this plenty. And then they went to Africa, same thing. And they were pissed off and angry that they had been living in these frigid, barren wastelands for so long that they had to get their lick back. It's a theory. It's a running theory. I'm going to figure out how to one day prove it right. But the amount of times I've been to London, I've just been so frustrated because of that drafty, cold, dreary country.
It is very dreary over there.
Like, how could you not be living there for your whole life? And then the first thing that you see when you travel outside is like lush greens and people walking around like with little clothing because it's warm and not be like pissed off. They were so jealous. This is like putting my tinfoil hat on, but it's something I just have in my head. There has to be a connection between cold and colonization. There has to be. Because if it's warm, why you wouldn't even be pressed about what other people are doing. You'd be doing your own thing because you're warm and not and like whatever. Who cares?
I don't know. I feel like Vikings were thriving their ass off in the cold.
Vikings, but all of the Europeans were not Vikings.
Yeah, you're right. That's
Some
true.
of them were just in caves, eating their babies or whatever.
In caves eating their babies.
The Dark Ages were called that for a reason. It was a very dark time.
Just in caves eating babies.
And if it wasn't for the Moors rescuing them.
Maybe that'll be the title of this episode. In caves eating babies.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Anyhow, hold on. In caves eating babies. There we go. All right. I just need to make sure I mark that down. So what would you like to discuss? Because this is we're doing a shoot the shit episode. Yeah. It's the holidays. Mm-hmm. The holidays are around the corner. Mm-hmm. And by the time you see this, we will be on
I guess we could schedule it to go up.
Yeah.
While we're away.
Yeah, we could schedule it to go up while we're away, and then yeah. We'll talk about that later. But what would you like to discuss on this shoot the shit episode?
Well, I found a bunch of questions from the science of people.
The science of people.
And so I'm just gonna throw some of these out there, and then we're gonna answer them.
She blinded me with science.
You wanna know what movie I haven't watched in a long time, but I used to really like?
Is it Weird Science?
Yes.
Can I tell you I've never seen Weird Science all the way through?
What?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Let me see if I can
I feel like it's streaming somewhere.
It has to be streaming somewhere. Do you think it holds up? Because it was in the 80s and it's two nerds making a woman.
I think there's gonna be a lot of problematic things. A woman. There's gonna be a lot of problematic things.
Probably.
Because
Weird
the whole thing, like
science.
It's about them making this woman, and she's like a grown woman, they're high school students, and they're
can't watch anywhere.
Really?
No. You could buy it on Amazon Prime, but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. No offense. No offense, Weird Science, but I'm not purchasing you.
It's probably gonna have weird sexual, creepy jokes,
kind of like not Porky's.
Porky's.
No, what's the other one? Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, with the dude who hard art somebody
in the movie.
Well, because he pretended to be somebody else.
Yes, that was a hard art.
And had sex with somebody under false pretenses. That's considered. That is an SVU episode.
That's how Nate Parker got his court case.
You are Nate Parkered in, because like this is now the second day that we have talked about Nate Parker.
Well, he has done some things that make him.
Nobody's talking about Nate Parker.
And then when you wonder why.
No, I mean that's like I say that as a good thing. No one else is talking about Nate Parker. He's not like anything anymore.
Relevant.
He's not relevant
because he's a dummy.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna just pick some random questions.
Sure.
And I'm gonna ask you, and then I'll respond to them as well.
Sure.
If
okay.
you do not want to answer the question,
you
have to take a shot. You only have to take half a shot. You don't have to take a full shot.
Okay. Let me get the vodka nearby. And set myself up with a shot. Do you do not want a shot? You should not take any shots.
I'm taking shots because I've already had some technical difficulties regarding that.
Yeah. Okay. Hit me with that first question. Hit me with that deep six question.
All right.
Hit me with that naughty question. Hit me with that salacious question.
All right.
Saucy question. That seductive question.
I don't think that it's going to be necessarily seductive, but
that selective question.
All right.
I'm doing S's.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Anyhow, what's up? Hit me.
What's the stupidest movie or TV show you've ever seen?
Oh, it's Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's so dumb. Like, I love it. I love how dumb it is. And my dad will always say that I had the idea for Aqua Teen Hunger Force before Aqua Teen Hunger Force came out, because I told him that I pitched to him an idea for a show about talking food. No, it was a talking pie.
A talking pie?
Yeah.
Why?
The talking pie was the sidekick to this guy who travels back in time for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the
That was the pitch. It was literally just a show about a guy and a talking pie who travel back in time for some reason.
Now, would the pie be like meatwad, like just, you know?
I didn't have any personality ascribed to these characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see the pie being meatwad.
Yeah,
I could
rolling
totally
around.
Well, would it roll around if it's in a tin pan?
Yeah, because it would roll around like I'm thinking about.
Roll around on the side.
Yeah.
You think
like it would be going like this, so you'd always see its face, and then the back of the pan would kind of be like its butt.
And the back of the pan would be its ass. Okay, I can see that. Yeah. What is the stupidest show you've ever watched?
What's that show you like? Tim and Eric?
Tim and Eric, awesome, so great job, or Tim and Eric's bedtime stories, or Tom Goes to the Mayor, or just anything that Tim and Eric has done. Rule of threes.
I feel like anything Tim and Eric have done is pretty stupid.
God, I love them so much. Their humor is irreverent
or irrelevant.
You say that, but Tim and Eric are very prominent now.
I'm sure they are.
I mean, you see Tim Heidecker in What We Do in the Shadows.
Who is he in What We Do in the Shadows?
He's in the new season as the boss of the company that Guillermo is working at.
Oh,
that's him. Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, and Eric Wareheim was before we found out that
Expressed?
No. I was thinking of he was on Master of None.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Which was a really good show before we found out about Aziz Ansari being a sex. Well, is he a sex pest?
He acknowledged
he had a weird case.
No, he was acknowledged that he had did something inappropriate, which would classify him as a sex pest, and that he was learning and growing from it. So just because he apologized and acknowledged his wrongdoing does not mean he has not done sex pest activities.
Okay. But yes, you're absolutely right. Has enough time passed that like he would be able to, I guess, do things now?
I mean, my thing is not about the time that's passed. It's more about
the growth that comes from learning from that issue. And we haven't heard any. Well,
he's done. He did that free. He's talked about it.
He did that stand-up show.
Yeah, I feel like he's talked about it. He's done some things behind the camera, but I think that it's like if you make a mistake and you get called out on it. That whether it's intentional or not, you have to respect that you did something to hurt someone. And then from there, you have to take it upon yourself to learn and grow and figure out how to ensure you're not making those mistakes again. And that goes for anybody and anything. Like, if you can't do that, then what's the point of people giving you the benefit of the doubt if you're not doing the barest minimum, which is learning how to keep yourself from making the same mistakes over and over and over again.
But how do we determine if somebody has
behavior? And to me, and I'm going to bring up Nate Parker again, just because he makes sense in this instance.
Sure.
So Nate Parker had a case from when he was in college. It came out when Birth of a Nation was coming out. And the reason I believe that his career never bounced back from that was because instead of him taking accountability for what he did when he was a young kid, like a young man, which is like, if any time that you should be able to acknowledge your mistakes and grow from them, it should be from when you were a kid, but that didn't happen. He blamed Black women specifically because he told us we were mad about him having a white wife, and then tried to deny, and then just move on without acknowledging his wrongdoing in that moment, especially because the woman involved took her own life. Now, that's someone who I'm like, I don't really care what you've got going on or how long it's going to be. Because if you couldn't express how you did something wrong and acknowledge that, then I don't really care, because that means tells me that you don't actually care about doing better. You just want to get in someone's good graces, and you will fake it until you make it. Someone like Aziz Ansari, I think that from what I remember, he acknowledged that what part he played in that situation. He acknowledged that he did not realize that what he was doing was wrong, but after being told, like, he recognizes that now. And then he took time off to go and, introspection, grow, whatever. And so if he were to come out and, want to start his career back up to where it was, that's not something that I feel like I would personally be offended by, or like I wouldn't be interested. Not to say that I wouldn't be interested in that. I would just be curious in how he responds to any sort of questions or whatever that come up. Are you going to be defensive and be like, "Well, I'm trying," or are you going to be like, "You know what? I recognize that this is now a part of my story. Doesn't mean that people have to stay in that story, but I can recognize that it's something that people are going to ask, and then answer it and move forward." Because at the end of the day, if this is all nobody else knows you in real life besides people that know you in your friend circle. So if you're out from the, you're outside of culture for a while and you come back in after a serious event like that takes place, you could expect questions, and just you need to be prepared to answer them without being defensive and feel like, people are criticizing you or whatever. They're just asking things that need to be asked. So I have not personally seen Aziz Ansari responding negatively to any questions that people have come up with. So I would be fine if he wants to come out, especially because it was only one person who ever said they ever had any sort of interaction with him.
Sure.
That was negative.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that didn't happen. It just means that in this moment, whatever reason, he did not have.
It's not like judgment. A pattern of behavior.
Exactly.
It
and
was.
that's the difference.
Maybe considered not an isolated incident. It was an incident.
It was an incident that happened, but I would say it could be an isolated incident, as in like it's different than Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby, where it's like
those are patterns of behavior.
Yeah, it's
those
like it comes out and then everybody else is talking about it. I think so. That's where I create my distinction.
Sure.
And I think that everybody has their right to create whatever distinction they want. Some people,
everybody
they hear about one
create
thing,
their own threshold.
They don't want to ever see that person again. I personally don't believe that, because I think that, like, whether you're a regular everyday Joe, you're a celebrity, that we should be allowed to grow and learn from our mistakes, because I think that's one of the issues with incarceration, is that people get put away. They do their time, but when they come out, they're still doing their time because everybody looks at them like a criminal, even if whatever they did was not something that was really like hurting someone or extremely like dangerous and all that. Like, even if somebody like stole a car, they're going to be labeled a thief for the rest of their life. And then that's how we have recidivism and lack of community and people delving deeper into a life of crime, because if everyone's always looking at you as your past mistakes, how are you ever going to grow? And I think that is something that we should be mindful of for all people and in all areas of our life.
Okay, that makes sense. So how about we now that we've had that nice segue, let us segue into our questions that we were going to do. Hit me with a question.
Well, we were already doing the questions.
That was a question?
No, but you asked me a question and I responded to it.
Okay, but you had a list of questions.
Oh yeah, I just have a bunch. I'm just gonna be picking through.
Yeah, pick one.
When you're in a bad mood, is there something or someone that can instantly make it better? Who or what? You cannot say sleep, nor can you say money.
When I'm in a bad mood?
Yes. Is there something or someone that can instantly make it better? Who is that person, or what is that thing? You could answer honestly.
Well, honestly, I was gonna say you, if like you're not already the source, you know, of the frustration or the anger. But as far as people, I would say you. As far as things, I would say music calms the savage beast. So I would say like listening to some music, Euphoria. It's weirdly calming. Like it starts off it gives me a roller coaster of emotions because it starts off like chill and relaxed and then slowly gets more and more aggressive to the point where I'm like getting all of my aggression out. Like I don't even give a fuck who you hang with. I hate the way you walk, the way you talk, I hate the way you dress. And then by the time it's over, I'm feeling a little bit down. I mean, not feeling down. I'm feeling calmed down. How about that? I'm feeling calmed down. How about you? Is there somebody or something that can instantly put a smile on your face if you're pissed?
That can instantly make it better.
Make it better, yeah.
Who or what?
Who or what?
Well,
I know the answer to this.
What's the answer?
Babies. Kada or Desi or Little Bear or oh man, I'm blanking on her name.
Ariana.
Yes, Ariana. Yes.
Well, you are correct that any of the many babies that I have in my life will instantly make me feel better. Whenever anything's happening, that if I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm annoyed, I will call my sister and be like, put the babies on the phone.
Yeah.
Or I'll have people send me pictures because I have so many babies and I just get so excited. Shade sent me a video of Kada singing he was saying the months of the year. It's so cute. The way that he says August is hilarious.
How does he say August?
He says like oeuvre, like he knows it's August because he's saying it the way he's adding all these various letters.
It's like how when Fox was younger, he used to say bodego instead of bodega.
Well, it's very cute.
And I'm like, okay, that's adorable. I can see, like, I can objectively look at that and be like, that's an adorable thing.
It's very sweet.
Yeah. Sweet.
Then yes, so the babies are the top ones, the top people that will make my mood get better in an instant. There are some others, but I will not name all of them.
Okay.
Or people, but I will not name all of them.
Yeah.
And as far
it's a litany of people.
As what will make me feel better automatically is doing what did you say?
Nothing.
No, say it.
Nothing.
I want to hear it.
Nothing.
Say it.
Masturbation. I was gonna say that for mine, but then I was like, no, that doesn't make me necessarily already feel better. It makes me feel nothing.
My God, that's
if I'm going from like, oh, I'm so pissed off, I gotta masturbate, and then I feel nothing. Like it's just like, oh, like all right, I'm relieved, and now I'm at 0.
I bet you this is going to be the freaking episode that my dad decides to watch in full.
That would be surprising.
And
if that is the case, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just ordinary people. I'm an ordinary guy.
But I have a question.
Sure.
Has there ever been a time where you have been so angry that you needed to masturbate?
Yes.
Why is masturbation?
Because okay, so here's the thing. When I'm angry, right? Like I'm not violent angry. Like when I'm angry, I turn inward and I need to do something with my energy where I feel like I am in control. And one of the things that makes me feel in control is self-pleasure. Because it's me being like, I'm gonna pleasure myself. I dictate my own release. Yeah. So and it helps with the anger. It helps to relieve that tension and that stress.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've never experienced that, but I guess
you've never been so angry. You're like, God damn it, I gotta masturbate.
No, I have not. I have just not. Like maybe if I said angry sex, but not angry masturbation.
But there's not always going to be somebody there that will help you to release.
That's true. But
like you can't depend on you can't depend on there always being somebody who will be there to help you with your like I gotta get these out. You lay there, ass up. Like you can't.
That sounds scary anyway. That anybody would just go and barge into the room and say that to you.
You ass up now.
Although I guess that could kind of be sexy.
Yeah, I think now that I'm saying it,
it does sound kind of sexy.
It does kind of sound.
That sounds
sexy.
like a good. Actually, I feel like that.
I think with two consenting adults.
Yes,
obviously, as long as this has been pre-approved and discussed, I think it could be a sexy thing. Your dad is definitely going to watch this, and your mom. Yeah, they're going to watch this on Instagram, and it's going to be a highlight. It's going to be a discussion.
You know what would be funny?
What's up?
If my stepmom watched it.
Oh, no.
That's who I would get the big laugh. Because she likes you so much. She was talking today. She's like, "Oh, how's Maury?"
Yeah, I noticed that. She says
she calls you Maury. That's
she
your
calls
nickname.
me Maury.
That's gonna be your like. It doesn't matter.
She knows it's Maurice.
She does. That's your nickname.
Okay, so when I worked at that energy company scam. And I had to be on the phone talking to people. I would always say, "Hey, not hey." I would always say like, "Thank you for calling. Blah blah blah. My name is Maurice. How can I help you?" And they say, "Oh, hi, Maury." And I'm like,
maybe this is just one of
bitch. That's not my name.
I think that, and I'm assuming these people were white.
Yeah, they were white, but more importantly, they were New Yorkers. Like I think that Maury is such a unique,
probably a nickname
New
for
York
Maurice.
name. I wouldn't even think that Maury
because as I've told you before I met you, majority of the people I ever met in real life or saw in media or whatever
whose names were Maurice
were white.
That's crazy because all the Maurices that I know are black and not just me and my dad. I mean, like I met 4 other Maurices throughout my life. And Maurices or versions of Maurice, like Marquise.
No, see, you can't go to versions because Marquise is clearly a black person.
Well, Maurice is clearly a black person.
Not. I would think it was Maurice was an
Maurice
older white
literally means
gentleman.
Dark-skinned Moor. Who's naming their kid?
All right, so
you
think that people are looking up their children's names and describing them all the time? Those old white people, you think that they were doing that?
Not when they were naming them like Agnes or Phyllis.
I'm gonna look up to see when Maurice was a popular name.
You're just going off of Belle's father. Maurice is Star Craving Mad. We should watch that at some point.
I was gonna watch it the other day, but I was like, no, I wanted to wait for you.
Okay, is that why you what? Well, I walked in on you watching Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have watched that from the beginning. I tell you, that's one of my top 10 favorite Disney movies.
I do remember that because I was watching a bunch, and then
I watched it in the theater with my dad, and he was like, "This feels more mature than a regular."
It's very sexy.
They say hell in it. They say hell.
do,
That's
yes.
what I remember being a child and being like, "Ooh, they said a bad word."
Okay, I have some information about your name.
Yeah, sure.
The earliest recorded use of the name Maurice can be traced back to 3rd century AD. It was a Christian martyr who was a leader of the Theban Legion, which was composed of Christian soldiers from Upper Egypt. He was executed for refusing to renounce his faith under the orders of Roman Empire Maximian, which means Maurices have always been stubborn.
Yes, that sounds exactly right.
In the Middle Ages, it gained popularity across Europe. One of the most notable figures to have the name was Maurice, the Byzantine emperor, who ruled from 582 to 602 AD. He is credited with reforming the Byzantine military and stabilizing the empire's finances. This sounds a lot like you.
Yeah. Look at me. Look at me.
There was also, during the Renaissance period, Maurice of Nassau was a Dutch prince and military commander who played a crucial role in the Dutch revolt against Spanish rule. Maurice, the Prince of Orange, who was a Dutch stadtholder and military leader. There's all these people. If you could, I mean, majority of them were probably white. If anything, they might have been olive skinned and had Moorish descent, because obviously the Moors had taken over Europe for several hundred years. But I'm just saying, I'm not finding a bunch of African, well, so besides the one in Upper Egypt.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
but
like,
that was, he was
Egypt.
ruling Upper Egypt. It didn't mean he was born in Upper Egypt.
Like fire, hellfire, the fire in my skin, this burning desire is turning me to sin.
That could have been actually a really good with like a heavy metal beat, because like
fire, hellfire. I still think that Beyonce should do a death metal for.
I want her to
Act 4. Actually, you know what? The more I've been thinking about it, I want her to do ska.
That would be hilarious.
Like trumpets and stuff.
Like one of those bands from, like, remember what was the band
we
from
just watched from Basketball, Real Big Fish.
Real Big Fish, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what song she needs to get one of those and do Real Big Fish.
Yeah.
All right.
So masturbation, put that statement to the test. You gotta love Grease 2. I wonder if Grease 2 is playing anywhere. And of course my phone is nowhere near me.
You do have a big phone in front of you that does all the things.
Yeah, but anyhow, hit me with another question.
All right, I'm gonna ask you a question about me.
Okay, sure.
A
question about you?
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, is it trivia?
It's good. Maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go and do a spicy question.
Yes. Because apparently that wasn't spice enough.
What is standing between you and happiness?
Obligations and commitments.
Commitments to who?
Not to who. It's not to who. It's not even a who. It's commitments, period, point blank. Like, I have to fine. I would say the fact that I have to pay bills and commitments to paying rent and commitments to paying bills and commitments to paying off my debts is standing in between me and happiness, because if I didn't have all of these debts and these affirms and this rent and these bills, I would be much happier.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least, if all of these debts and bills weren't as expensive as they were, then I would be much happier. I would be in a happier place.
Mm-hmm.
Also, maybe my work standing between me and being happy, because they ask too much. I think they ask too much of me, but that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. What about you? What do you think is standing between you and happiness?
The crushing weight of capitalism.
Okay.
Because I mean everything you mentioned, because we are a floating rock in the middle of a galaxy and being forced to pay for shelter and food and water and, you know, healthcare. And have no majority of these things are not even though we're paying for them, they're still crap. That's standing in the way of me and happiness. The crushing weight of white supremacy and patriarchy are standing in the way between me and happiness, because those two are so stupid and dumb and frustrating. And I would say sometimes myself.
Yourself? You're standing in the way of your own happiness?
Yes.
Let's explore that. What do you mean?
Well, because I have fears about things that I wouldn't want to do, so that might keep me from going after them.
What kind of fears?
Oh, you know, fear of failure, fear of greatness, fear of, you know, not being good enough, or having, you know, self-doubt, et cetera, et cetera. Bless you. So just fears that I'm going to crash and burn, or, you know, any of the other things that my brain trolls me with on a regular basis.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
How many more questions do you want to do?
Let's do 3 more and then we can call it.
Do you remember any bedtime stories or lullabies that were special to you?
My mom used to tell me the story of Anansi the spider. Now, I'm not sure if it was it. I can't tell. No, there was a book. We had a book, and she told me the story of Anansi the spider. But I also remember an episode of Wishbone.
Oh yeah, Wishbone.
What's the story, Wishbone? The dog who would be in all of the fucking stories.
They're so cute.
You know they had to have multiple different dogs.
Of course, probably.
He wasn't the same fucking dog every single time. Anyhow, do you remember Ghost Riders, by the way?
Yes, I love Ghost Riders.
Ghost Riders. Anyhow, Anansi the spider. My mom had a book and she would read that to me. She also used to read the Berenstain Bear books to me.
Me too.
Like, we had like a plethora of those books, and she would like read them like Too Many Sweets, or Not Doing Chores, or you know, Papa Goes Fishing or some bullshit like that. Yeah, we would read all those stories. Oh, but my favorite one was Corduroy. Do you remember Corduroy? The bear with the corduroy that was missing a button? Yeah.
Yeah.
Corduroy was the shit.
I loved Corduroy.
Yeah. How about you? Did your mom read you book? She would have had to. There's no way that you learned how to love reading without there being some sort of source.
Yeah, but it was mostly I was reading with my sister, mostly.
Okay.
My mom didn't really read us. Neither of my parents read us books like to go to sleep. If anything, my sister was probably reading me a book, or I would just wake up and read a book because I didn't have anything else to do, and I was not tired, so I would get up and read.
Ooh, that's gonna have to be adjusted soon.
Yeah, well, here we are. But I would say one of the lullabies that my nanny used to always sing me was the "You Are My Sunshine" song.
That's why you have that tattoo on your knee
It's
or your thigh. I forget. It's on your leg.
on my thigh.
Yeah.
And that is not explicitly, but that Beatles song, "Here Comes the Sun."
Yeah, Here Comes the Sun.
So Nina Simone did a cover of that, and it's one of my favorite Nina Simone songs.
I would love to hear a Nina Simone version of Here Comes the Sun.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, I'll play it for you when it's
Here
done.
comes the sun.
It does not sound like that.
In my mind, Nina Simone is singing it very slowly.
No, she is singing it slowly, but it's
it's with the same tempo of Strange Fruit.
Oh, God. I would hope not.
Here comes the sun. The sun is strange. Okay. All right. What's next? We got two more questions.
No, not that one.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. No, I'm gonna do one of these. Pick a number.
28.
28.
28. Although you didn't even tell me what number out of what number.
Okay, pick a number out of 290 from 1 to 295.
111.
Okay, 111. Let's hope it's something good.
Let's hope so. Here we go. And 111.
What are your thoughts on therapy?
Oh, therapy is important. I think everybody should be in therapy. Everybody needs to be in therapy in some way, shape, or form. The only reason why I'm not in therapy is because I can't afford it right now. Don't give me that look. I have bills and shit to pay.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that your job gives you can get people for you can get therapists through your job that don't cost money more
that they cost money.
They don't cost more than your $25 copay.
No, it would be $30 for copay.
Oh, okay, $30.
Yeah. Okay, you say $30, but that's $30 is a lot when you're paying a lot on a bill already. When your paycheck is basically gone already. Like each paycheck is half rent plus whatever bills and debts you have to pay off, plus all of the affirms that I have to pay off, and then whatever is left over that has to be for food for the both of us. So when I say I can't afford it, I mean that I can't afford it realistically.
There are plenty of places that give grants to people who need help paying their insurance.
They give grants to people.
Your job might have something where they give you a certain amount of therapy a year.
They don't.
Have you confirmed that?
I've looked into it because I looked into it when I was also looking into if they give rebates or refunds for therapy or whatever it was that I was supposed to be looking into that I looked into, and they said no, they don't do that.
Okay. I think therapy is very important. I think it's important for families, for couples, for individuals. I think that we should have a therapist or counselor in every job and school for people to see on a regular basis, because therapy is not doing something just because you are like in a bad place. It's just for having an unbiased person to talk to and help you to work through things. And usually they're going to bring up something you didn't even realize was an issue you were dealing with. So I think it helps with our communication with ourselves and others, and being able to see ourselves clearly, as long as you're not lying to them, because then obviously. But yeah, all right. Pick one more number.
No, you pick a number.
222. Are you still scrolling?
What's your favorite sort of text to receive from me? Oh, really? What's your favorite sort of text to receive from me? Words of affirmation.
Well, yes, but yes, words of affirmation. But
I guess technically, I guess this would be like, you know, the way that I text. So then, what type of text that you know I would do
to have from you? My favorite sort of text is one when you're engaging with me and you're having a full conversation and you're joking and being silly and sending me gifts and pictures and going back and forth and engaging in what I would like to say, and also sex in any form.
Okay.
But also words of affirmation.
Okay.
Telling me you miss me, telling me how you care about me, and how you miss my face or something. All those things. What about you?
Photos of my own ass. That's my favorite. There's nothing better than to receive a message that says not suitable for work, incoming, and then it's a picture of my own ass being sent to me.
It wasn't not suitable for work.
Yeah.
So.
And it was definitely not suitable for work. There's nothing better than seeing a photo of me with my bare ass hanging out, prone.
Oh, that was so funny.
I love the fact that your natural instinct was you saw it and you said, I gotta take a photo of this.
Because I was gonna take a photo so I could show it to you. Before I came into the bed, you were like that. I will not describe your position of shame.
It wasn't a position of shame. I fell asleep that way. It was cold and my bare ass was out.
That's not why it was cold to your bare ass.
Sorry. It was cold outside. It was hot inside.
That's not why your bare ass was
and
out.
That is
no, it's not why your bare ass was
that
out.
Was the reason why my bare ass not. It was.
Your bare ass was out because you were going to FAP station.
That's not the reason
and
why.
You needed to pull your pants down, and then you
First
fell
off,
asleep and forgot to pull your pants back up.
I never pull my pants down that long. There's no reason far for your just to fap.
It was either that you were like taking your pants off, and then you got into bed and just said
That's
whatever.
Probably what it was.
But I feel like you were fapping, and then
I don't need my pants down near my ankles like a pool of shame. To fap. That is not what I need. And to Odie's father and mother who are listening to this right now. Yes, I do that. I'm not ashamed of it. I am proud of my body. I'm proud of my habits.
Just let your soul glow. Imagine if somebody came and it looked like mustard.
What do you mean?
If it looked like mustard, if it was yellow like that.
Oh, sorry. When you said that, I thought you meant like if somebody arrived looking like the DJ Mustard. I was like,
no, I mean that would just be like, oh,
okay, it's just some dude,
a thick yellow
gray poupon on that vagina. Imagine, oh my goodness! Imagine if it had the viscosity of mayonnaise.
Barf right there. Barf.
Like that thickness.
Ew, gross. I can't. No more.
Yeah, well,
That's it. I want you to think about a question and ask me.
What do you mean?
Just think of a question and ask me a question. That's gonna be our last one.
Okay.
Off the dome.
All right, off the dome. What was your proudest moment of the year?
We're doing that next week.
All right, fine. What has been your proudest? Name a moment where you were the most proud, not this year, but of life.
One of my proudest moments, I would say, for myself was when I got into Howard.
Okay.
Because I worked really hard. I was doing it all, well, not all on my own. Of course, I got help from Sade. But yeah, I think that I felt so accomplished. And then everything else after that has just been like adding on top of the proudness. But I think that that's one of the ones I remember the most because that was the first time I really had control over my life and what I was going to do with it. And I took that and ran with it. What about you?
For me, it was graduating from Howard because I worked my ass off to copy those Wikipedia pages for all of those various essays that I had to do. No, I worked my ass off to get through college. Like, it's no secret. I didn't necessarily have a game plan for after high school. And the only reason why I wanted to go to Howard University was because my high school sweetheart wanted to go. And I was like, well, if we're together, then that'll be that. And we could just be together and I'll just follow you. And then I got in and she didn't for the first year. She got in the second year, but but I made so many friends and connections and, so many people that I love and that I care about to this day. And I was able to make it through all the way to graduation. Like, there's no, like my diploma, is it a diploma? Yeah.
Your degree.
My degree is over here sitting on the table where this cat's ass constantly sits as soon as she jumps up on the table in order to jump up on the window. But it's over there, and I'm proud of myself for making it through college.
Yeah.
Without giving up or without dropping out. Because so many of my friends dropped out. Some of them, they dropped out for legitimate reasons. Some of them dropped out for lack of better phrasing, because they couldn't afford it, they couldn't hack it, they went a different life plan, health reasons, and I was one of the few people who just powered through and did the whole thing.
Well, that is something to be proud of.
Yeah.
I mean, getting to college, graduating from college, like just that whole experience, it is, you should be proud of it because you worked really hard to get there, to get through it. And then everything else that comes after that is like building on top of those skills. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And
I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you.
Yes.
And I'm also proud of you.
Thank you. And I'm also proud of you as well. So with that being said, should we call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank everybody for listening to the podcast, for watching the podcast. As always, I am Mo and this is Odie. We will be back next time, and that might be the last one for the year. The next one that we do. Yeah. And then we're going to take a quick break for the holidays just so that we can
gather
ourselves for the new year.
And we'll be back in 2025.
Yes, we'll be back in 2025. 2025, do or die. or 2025 stay alive. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, who knows? Both.
Who knows? It might be a mixture of the two. But either way, take it easy, keep it sleazy. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snurdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snurdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's ThatsOD, THATSOD.E. And on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Sturdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather rock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Not
yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.